Tonight, at some point after midnight, your brain will do something that no other organ in your body can do. It will physically shrink. Not permanently, but enough. Enough to open tiny gaps between its own cells and let fluid rush through like a slow tide, washing out all the damage that built up while you were awake. Scientists only discovered this in 2013, and what they found changes everything we thought we understood about sleep, aging, and what is quietly happening inside your head on the nights you decide rest can wait. Here's something that took scientists decades to figure out. Every organ in your body has a cleaning system. Your liver has one. Your lungs have one. Your skin has one. Think of it like a drain. Waste goes in, gets filtered, and gets removed. The entire body runs on this. It is one of the most basic things a living thing needs to survive. And for most of medical history, scientists believed the brain was the one organ that had no drain at all. They looked for it. They mapped the brain in extraordinary detail. They found nothing, which made no sense because the brain is the hungriest organ in your body. It uses 20% of all the energy you consume every day, while being only 2% of your body weight. All that activity produces waste, and nobody could explain where that waste went. Then in 2013, a scientist named Nedergaard found the drain. It had been there the whole time. It just only opened at night. What she discovered was a system of tiny channels running through the brain, like a hidden plumbing network, that fills with fluid while you sleep. That fluid moves through the brain's tissue, collects the waste that built up during the day, and carries it out of your head entirely. She called it the glymphatic system. But the name doesn't matter as much as what it does. And what it does, it only does while you are unconscious. While you are awake, this system is almost completely shut off. The moment you fall into deep sleep, it activates. And when her team measured how much more powerful it became during sleep compared to during wakefulness, the numbers stopped them. 10 times more active. Not 10% more. 10 times. So what is it actually washing out? This is where it gets important. Every moment you are awake, every thought you have, every conversation, every decision, your brain is working. And like any machine that works hard, it produces waste. Two specific types of waste build up faster than anything else. The first is a sticky protein that clumps between brain cells like buildup in a pipe, slowly blocking the signals passing through. The second is a different protein that wraps around the inside of brain cells and over time destroys them from within. You don't need to remember those names. What you need to understand is this. Those two waste products are the exact same substances that fill the brains of people with Alzheimer's disease. They're not some outside threat that arrives from nowhere. They're the natural byproduct of your brain being alive and active. And the only way your brain removes them is through this cleaning system, the one that runs while you sleep. When scientists watched this system working in real time, they saw something that explained the shrinking. During deep sleep, the cells surrounding those hidden channels actually pull away from each other, creating wider gaps, opening the path for the fluid to flow through faster and reach deeper. The whole brain becomes slightly more porous, like a sponge being rinsed. That's the mechanism. That's what the brain is doing while you lie there unconscious and still. And when you wake up, those cells close back together. The channels narrow. The flow nearly stops. And whatever waste wasn't flushed out stays behind until the next night. But here is what almost nobody tells you. This cleaning doesn't happen equally across all of sleep. It does most of its work during the deepest phase, the part of the night when your body is most still, your breathing is slowest, and you're furthest from waking. That deep phase is also the first thing to disappear when your sleep is cut short. When you drink alcohol before bed. When you sleep somewhere unfamiliar. When you spend the last hour before sleep scrolling through your phone and finally close your eyes, already wired. The phase that matters most is the phase that goes first. A sleep researcher at UC Berkeley named Matthew Walker has spent years studying what happens to the brain when this cleaning cycle gets interrupted. What he found is not comfortable reading. A single night of poor sleep, just one, produces a measurable increase in waste buildup inside the brain, specifically in the regions responsible for memory and clear thinking. And it compounds. More waste makes deep sleep harder to reach. Harder deep sleep means less cleaning. Less cleaning means more waste. The cycle tightens quietly, night after night, long before anyone notices anything is wrong. This is not something that only happens to people who sleep 2 or 3 hours. Studies following ordinary adults across decades have found that people who regularly sleep fewer than 6 hours a night show significantly more of this waste accumulating in their brain sometimes 20 or 30 years before any memory problems appear. The damage doesn't announce itself. It doesn't send a warning. It just builds invisibly in the background of your life. There is one more detail from the original research that is strange enough to stay with you. This cleaning system works best when you sleep on your side. Not on your back, not on your stomach, on your side. Something about the position, the angle, the way gravity acts on the fluid, makes the whole process more efficient. Nobody taught your ancestors this. There are no doctors, no studies, no advice. But watch almost any animal sleeping safely in the wild. A dog, a cat, a wolf curled in the grass. They sleep on their sides. The body already knew something the science took until 2013 to prove. We live in a world that quietly celebrates not sleeping enough. There's a version of ambition that treats sleep as laziness dressed up in pajamas. The person who works until 2 a.m. The executive who runs on 4 hours and calls it discipline. The quiet pride in saying, "I'll sleep when I'm dead," which, as it turns out, is a more accurate statement than anyone who says it realizes. More than a third of adults today regularly sleep fewer than 7 hours a night. Not because they don't care about their health, because they have built lives in which sleep is always the first thing cut when time gets tight. The most sacrificed resource. The easiest thing to take from tomorrow. But the brain doesn't forgive the debt on the weekend. It doesn't catch up. Researchers have found something particularly unsettling about long-term sleep deprivation. People who have been chronically undersleeping stop being able to accurately judge how impaired they actually are. The worse your sleep gets, the less able you are to notice how much you've lost. The thing that would tell you something is wrong is the same thing that has been damaged. You lose the ability to see your own decline. Your brain has been running this cleaning system every night of your life. Every night you slept deeply. The channels opened, the fluid moved, and the waste of the day was quietly carried out before morning. You never felt it. You never knew it was happening. You just woke up and the world made sense again. The question is not whether you believe sleep is important. Everyone believes that. The question is whether you understand what is building up inside your brain on the nights you decide it can wait.